MacBook Neo versus M4 MacBook Air. Which is better for video editing? I've seen a lot of people talking about this online because the Neo comes in at 600 or even 500 bucks with an education discount, and you can buy a refurbished M4 MacBook Air for around 760 bucks. And so at a $160 to $260 price gap between these two computers, you may be wondering if you should just buy the Neo or save up a bit more for the Air. Hey, my name is Matt Johnson, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video as we compare both of these laptops using a variety of video editing software like DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro, and Final Cut. Let's start with the specs though, so we know what we are working with. For context, I have a absolutely base level MacBook Neo here, rocking Apple's A18 Pro chip, the smallest 256 gigabyte internal SSD, and the maximum amount of memory that this laptop will allow, which also happens to be the minimum because you can't change it, 8 gigs of RAM, which is not much, but here we are. Side note, if you want to see my full review of the Neo or the M4 Air, I will link to those up in the corner and down in the video description. Anyways, in the other corner now, we have the M4 MacBook Air. This specific one that I own is a very slight step up over the base configuration. So instead of the lowest tier chip, it has a very small GPU upgrade from 8 cores to 10 cores and an upgraded 512 gigabytes of storage. And most importantly, it comes with the base configuration of RAM that Apple offers to the MacBook Air, which is 16 gigabytes, twice that of the Neo. Getting right into the comparison then, let's start by talking about one of the most important hardware features on both of these laptops when it comes to photo and video work, and that is the screen quality. Both the Neo and the Air are capable of reaching 500 nits of brightness, which is quite bright and looks really good. But where they differ is in terms of color space coverage. Testing both the Neo as well as the Air with a Spider color calibrator, the Neo screen covers 98% of the sRGB color space and 73% of P3, while the Air covers 100% of sRGB and 100% of P3. These days, most video editors are going to be editing in the sRGB color space, so both of these laptops will perform very well. But if you want to do any more advanced editing in HDR, for example, where you need to be able to see more colors, that is where the M4 MacBook Air pulls ahead. Another area where the Air pulls ahead in is ports, because while both of these computers only have USB Type-C ports, two of them, the MacBooks are both Thunderbolt, while the one on the Neo is USB 3 and the other is USB 2.0. In short, if you are going to be copying footage from a memory card, you can use either port on the MacBook Air and the rear port on the Neo. Let's get into the software now. Firing up the first of many, we have DaVinci Resolve, and opening up the same exact project on each of them, you can see how the Neo is fully capable of playing back a mix of 4K, 6K, and even RAW footage, but it does struggle a bit when it comes to scrubbing through 6K and 8K video. There's a little bit of a lag here as it's trying to load it. And I want you to notice that in particular for this red RAW footage, it is not playing back at the full frame rate. It's currently playing back at 8 frames per second. So it can play it back, but it's not going to be as smooth as you may expect it to be on a more powerful laptop. Notice here with ProRes RAW footage, it will play it back at the correct frame rate because this laptop has ProRes hardware encoders and decoders. There's about a half a second to 1 second lag as you click through different clips and the slower processor and SSD try to keep up. Alternatively though, on the M4 Mac Mini, this footage plays back very smoothly and also scrubs very smoothly as well, even with Red RAW or ProRes RAW footage. There's no lag and slowdown with OpenGate either. I've had this laptop for over a year now and I love it. It's just so good. Next, we have export and render speeds, and this is another area where the Neo struggles. Exporting a 10-minute video with all the footage that we were just scrubbing through, this laptop took 11 minutes and 31 seconds. This is not very fast. Alternatively, I then tried the same export with the M4 MacBook Air, which took a much shorter 5 minutes and 18 seconds, about half the time. As you can see, the base M4 chip is doing a lot more heavy lifting than the A18 Pro chip in the Neo, and while this chip is not going to be as fast as an M4 or M5 Pro or Max chip, it is still quite quick. But let's now see how both these computers handle Premiere Pro. I have created a virtually identical project here to the one that was in Resolve, and I gotta say, scrubbing around with the Neo in Premiere Pro is not nearly as smooth of an experience as it was in Resolve. There's a lot of lag here, and while the Neo will handle scrubbing through footage that was in 4K at 24 FPS or 60 FPS fairly well, once you start getting to 8K footage, there's a lot of lag. I just clicked on this clip, and it's like, oh, you wanted that clip? Hold up, give me a second, because this clip was in 8K and it's still just thinking about it. Come on, please, Neo, you're making me look bad here. What are we doing? Can you load this clip, Premiere? I need you to load this clip that we've scrubbed over here. There we go. Wow. Okay, so that took a hot second there. Let's just, should we check how the red raw footage handles? Because it's raw. Okay, let's click on that. And now we're going to play the waiting game here again and see. Oh, it did actually load a bit faster than the 8K Sony footage. That's good. Trying to scrub around. I don't think it's going to work well, but let's hit play. And it's thinking about playing. Maybe. Maybe not. Oh, it is playing. Okay, it is playing. You can see the waveforms bouncing. It's just playing extremely slowly here. Okay. Oh, there we go. And we're on to the next clip. So, this is definitely not as smooth of an experience as it is in Resolve. Premiere isn't a bad program, but in my experience, it prefers a computer with a relatively beefy processor and ideally more than 8 gigabytes of RAM, especially when I was trying to play back 6K red raw footage. Checking out how the M4 MacBook Air handles things, on the other hand, scrubbing definitely quicker. Going over here to the 8K footage, loads significantly faster. Getting over here to the red raw, hitting play. Come on, it's thinking about even loading the red raw. Uh-oh, we're struggling here as well, aren't we? Come on, I should have let it load to the clip before I play. There we go. And now it's on to the next clip. So it's just kind of skipped this clip. And it says it's playing even though it's not playing back. Oh, there we go, kind of. Okay, let's check out ProRes RAW. Okay, and that's playing back more smoothly. So it's definitely the 6K red raw footage that is giving the M4 MacBook Air some trouble as well, at least in Premiere Pro. You ready to render this footage? Let's render this clip out. Rendering this video with the Neo took 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 8 seconds, which is dramatically slower than DaVinci Resolve. Even after all this time, me begging Adobe to improve their program over the years, Premiere is still not nearly as optimized as Resolve, and I gotta say, it makes it hard to recommend the Neo if you edit in Premiere Pro, and you are editing anything higher than 4K resolution video. Compare that now to the MacBook Air, on the other hand, which took 11 minutes and 18 seconds to render the same video in Premiere Pro. And while that was definitely a drop in speed over DaVinci Resolve's 5 minutes and 40 seconds, it still handled this footage relatively well. Next, we have Final Cut. This program is legendary for running well on pretty much all Macs, and I have to say, the Neo is no exception. There's really no struggling scrubbing through clips. Even the red raw looks great, ProRes RAW looks great. Go on and hit play, starts playing back immediately smoothly. It is so good. Great job, Apple. I really have no complaints about playback and scrubbing on Final Cut. Unsurprisingly, the M4 MacBook Air also handles Final Cut basically perfectly as well, playing back all the footage super smoothly, even the raw and open gate stuff. It's just so smooth. It's fantastic. In regards to render speed, keeping in mind that we just came from a very lackluster rendering experience in Premiere Pro, I'm happy to tell you that the Neo was able to render significantly faster and finished exporting this project in 12 minutes and 18 seconds in Final Cut. This is slightly slower than the 11.5 minutes that it took to render in DaVinci Resolve, but regardless, for either of these programs, you're going to get up and stretch your legs while you wait for the video to finish rendering, or I guess if you're using Premiere Pro, you could go take a nap for an hour. Regardless, we now needed to mention the MacBook Air, which rendered the same project in Final Cut in 4 minutes and 10 seconds, which means that Final Cut was faster to render than Premiere and Resolve. Good job, Apple. So, which of these two laptops should you choose? The ultra budget MacBook Neo that you can get for as cheap as $500 brand new, or should you spring for a refurbished M4 MacBook Air that you can pick up for about $760 at the time of making this video? In my opinion, if you're on a truly low budget and your max is $500, if you're going to be editing footage in 4K that was filmed at 24 to 60 frames per second, go with the Neo. It's still a very capable machine that will handle that footage fine. But if you want a computer with significantly more power and less compromises for video editing, even at very high resolutions and bit rates, especially if you are using Premiere Pro, that is where I would go with the M4 MacBook Air. Save up a couple $100 more and it is worth it. Thanks so much for watching. I will link to my MacBook buyer's guide videos down in the video description if you aren't sure which one you should purchase for video editing. And I'll also link to my edit videos like a pro guide that's going to show you my biggest rules that I follow as a video editor to create better videos. This guide's complete free for you to download and it's linked in the video description. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more videos about cool tech like this. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.